Hey, what's up fellow creatives? Khan here with a new video. If you're new to the channel, let me introduce myself. I'm a full-time online marketer who is trying to become a full-time content creator. In today's video, we're going to shoot some product photos. I'm going to show you both the setup as the actual process of editing the photos. I changed up my background, by the way, quite a bit, as you can see right here. Do you think it's any better? Comment down below. What will we shoot today? Let's see what I've got in my pocket. My phone maybe? The skin on there looks quite cool. Or maybe my Galaxy earbuds. It has the same skin on it. Nah, I shot it before. What about this? My diesel watch. Yeah, that'll do, I think. It looks dope, right? Besides using the watch, I'm also going to take a look and look for props that add to the story of the watch. So the gear we're going to use today is the Canon EOS R, on which I'm shooting today, and this bad boy right here, the Canon RF50 f1.2. I've been thinking about buying a dedicated macro lens for doing these kind of shoots, but it would cost me another 600-500 euros, and I spent already a lot of money on gear. So I found a better solution. I found these, which will help me get closer to my product, because every lens has its minimal focusing distance. I'm not sure if you can see it right here, but it says 0.4 meter or 1.31 feet. And this means it can focus closer than 0.4 meter or 1.31 feet. So using these extension tubes will help me get closer to my products and get the real close-up macro shot that we want. My goal with this shoot is to take a photo in which everything is in frame, so the product itself combined with the props. And on the other hand, I also want to get some detailed shots of the product which show both the craftsmanship that went into making a product and which will help enhance the story of the product. Before we even think about shooting your product, make sure that your lens is clean. So we're gonna take out this cloth and clean the lens. And also this bad boy over here. This is called a rocket blower, I think, but I call it just a dust blower thingy. So we're gonna get everything out of it. So we definitely won't get dust particles in our shots. We're also going to do it over here. That'll do. Alright, let's see if we can find some awesome props in here. Let's take a look in here. Alright, so this is going to be what we're working with today. But we're going to need one more thing. Okay, so the last thing we're going to use is this surface over here. I think this wooden surface will definitely complement the watch. Oh damn, I forgot something we could use for the props. This right here. Whenever you take product photos, make sure you put on these cloth gloves so you won't get any dust or fingerprints on it. And also make sure to clean the product itself, because otherwise you're going to have way more work in post to remove dust or scratches or anything else. Okay, now it's time to set everything up. Whenever you're doing these kind of photo shoots, you have to make sure that it doesn't get too crowded and that the props don't make it distracting, so you won't notice the main product anymore. Alright, so these are the photos I like most, especially those macro shots. Just look at those details, it's insane. But taking macro shots is quite hard, to be honest, because you probably need to use manual focus most of the time to make sure your subject is in focus. On the other hand, you could also use focus stacking to get everything nice and clean in focus, but I didn't use it on this shoot. And these are the other shots that I took to get everything in frame. In the first photo over here, if you look at the diesel logo, you can see that it could be a bit better in focus. But we can definitely work with this. Alright, let's start this edit off with adjusting the white balance by using the white balance selector. Then we look for the widest point in the image and click on there. As you can see, it made the tones more blue, and that's exactly what I wanted. Now we're heading over to our basic tone sliders. I increased the overall exposure in this photo because it was a bit dark, and then I increased the contrast, clarity, and dehaze to make the product pop. That's one of the things I always do to make it stand out. Alright, so next I'm adjusting the saturation a little bit, and now we're going to make a basic S-curve as I usually do with the tone curve. As far as the tones go, make sure the product has the same color as in real life. You don't want to get a product with another color than the photo as a customer. With the HSL sliders, I usually tend to go more for orange instead of red, so I'm adjusting my sliders to get that result. And I'm also making my blues a bit darker because I don't want the metal parts of the watch to look too cyan. Didn't really touch the other colors, and then I will bring up the luminance of almost every color to make them a bit lighter. Next, I'm sharpening up the photo. I use the mask to determine what needs sharpening in the photo. With the mask, you can choose which part of the photo you want to sharpen, and only the white part gets sharpened over here. And then I click on remove chromatic aberrations and enable profile corrections. I think it's important for product photos because it removes distortions and vignetting from the lens. I didn't use transforming or vignetting in this photo. And next we're heading over to the local adjustments. I'm adding a radial mask to the photo and lower the exposure to darken the sides so there's more focus on the center. Up next, I'm going with a brush over the wooden background to make it a bit warmer, because it looked too cool for me. Then, we're going to use the brush tool again over the metal parts on the left side and the diesel logo in the middle, and make sure it stands out, especially the logo in the middle. So we're going to increase the contrast, the clarity, sharpness, and the texture of those parts. And doing these kind of local adjustments can really improve the photo. Up next is a very important part. As you can see, there are a lot of dust particles on the watch. Even though we cleaned it, it's still possible to have them on there. We're going to get rid of these in Photoshop. Same goes for the scratches. So right click and click Edit in Photoshop. In Photoshop, we're going to duplicate a layer by pressing Command or Alt plus J. Then we go to Filter and make a Smart Filter. We do both of these steps to make sure the layer is non-destructive and so we can still change the values later. Then we're going over to Filter, Noise, and then we click Dust and Scratches. Then we're going to try to set a radius until you just can't see the dust particles and scratches anymore. For the threshold, we're going to do the same. First, we'll put both at 0 and we're going to slide to the right until all the dust is gone. Then increase the threshold right before you see the dust coming up again. The next step is, now we're going to put up a layer mask over it by clicking on the bottom icon. And then we'll invert it by pressing Command I or Alt I. And this will bring up a black layer mask. Now we're going to take a white brush and paint over the dust and scratches particles to remove them. Make sure to definitely put the opacity and flow at 100%. And another important thing to keep in mind is, don't paint on important detailed areas because it's going to mess up. And you're gonna lose quite some detail if you do it on those parts. For those detailed areas, you might want to use the spot healing brush tool or the clone stamp tool. For the spot healing brush, you hold Command or Alt, sample from the part you want by clicking on it, and the same goes for clone stamping. And then you can start painting over the specific part you want to. Alright, and now we're finished. Close Photoshop, but don't forget to save it. It instantly opens it up in Lightroom. You can copy the settings of your first photo to all the other photos by selecting every photo you want, but you have to make sure that the first photo you selected is the edited one. And then you click on Synchronize, you check all the boxes that you want, and that's it. So the next photos will also going to need to be edited in Photoshop because we're going to need to delete all those dust and particles too. So I'm going to speed run this part, so I'm going to let you relax and enjoy it with some music on so you can see how I do it. If you're not interested in this part, skip to 15 minutes and 12 seconds to see all the before and afters. Alright, that's it for me today, you guys. I hope you got something out of it. I think these kind of BTS and editing tutorial videos are fun to watch because I like to watch them myself. If you like this video, please don't resist on clicking the like button and subscribing to see more valuable content like this in the future. Creators, peace out.
How that sound? Yeah, that sound good. Tell them break it down. ISO Wendy's in your town. Don't forget the dollar sign. How that sound? Yeah, that sound good. Tell them get in line. Hold it down, hold it down. Came up from the underground. How that sound? Yeah, that sound good.
My goal with this shoot is to take